What's up, everyone? Welcome to the MLG Dr. Pepper pregame show. I'm FaZe alongside Hastro. And, hey, it was a crazy night yesterday. I even lost a little bit of the voice, to be honest with you.
A lot of your voice, not just a little bit.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But we got the baby blue on, and we're ready to bring the noise. And we'll just try to take care of these passages as time progresses. But we saw some great matches yesterday, Hastro.
We did. We were here in the venue for about 16 hours yesterday. We saw amazing matches all day long.
Yeah.
There was nothing short of spectacular here in Dallas, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about wrapping up those matches for you all if you didn't tune in yesterday. And if you did, we'll give you a brief recap.
Yeah, let's pull up the bracket if we can from yesterday so we can talk about where some of these teams kind of progress through our system if we have that available to us. There we go.
There we are.
So you saw Farico and Envious. That's going to be later on today. I'm excited to see that one. However, we did see the Cloudburst and Storm match. Cloudburst, they put up a good fight. They got just crushed on hard point. They came back. Stun did a really good job. However, it was ultimately Storm that prevailed. Then you had the Curse versus Dare match. That's how we started the match off yesterday. Curse, they were struggling at first, but Dare actually took the lead on hard point, and they were up 4-0 in Search and Destroy. Ultimately, Dare lost both of those matches, ended up kind of just choking, to be honest with you, and it was Curse that ended up 3-0ing Dare to advance. And then you've got FaZe and VVV Gaming. That's going to be our first match of the evening. This is a pretty good story here. You've got VVV that's been doing a great job in the online qualifiers. Puckett certainly kept an eye on this team. And FaZe, they're notoriously known as a YouTube sniping team. They, like Optic, go into the competitive scene, and you've got somebody named Folsom there who used to be just a sniper. Now he's on the main stage competing. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, Folsom's a great player, solid all around, and started off as a sniper, and look at him now. He's over there on the left side of your screen, staring back at the camera right now. So FaZe, they did work last night. I watched some of their game, and they were super hyped up. They actually managed to take out Quantic Gaming in the open bracket. So
yeah,
Quantic now fighting through the losers bracket of open bracket, and FaZe finds himself here in this position to face off versus VVV. We'll get back to that. Let's keep going on with the rest of the bracket.
Sure,
here.
absolutely. So the Fear versus Hex P game was actually my favorite from yesterday. There were some really good matches. The reason why this went to a game number 5, they were going toe-to-toe, back and forth. Ultimately, it was a Search and Destroy game number 5 that Fear was able to take it away from Hex P. You saw a dirty play on Sharp turning on somebody in the Search and Destroy game. I believe it might have been Tipsy, I'm not sure. And then you had Donut Shop and One Chance. So Donut Shop, Goonjar and the Online Warriors, man, they're actually coming to land and doing pretty well. So they were able to take out One Chance and move into winners round 2. So amazing matches. Which one was your favorite from yesterday, Hastro?
Oh, man, I'd have to say the Hex P versus Fear matchup was probably the closest match altogether, with Hex P taking that one, Fear taking that one 3-2. But I also had to root for the boys in blue from Envious.
Of course.
The Envious Complexity matchup was just such a massive, massive match with so much on the line. And that was probably one of those games that I really just enjoyed watching, not just because Envy won, but also because of the implications there.
Online, there's latency and stuff, and it doesn't necessarily reflect the true competitive format like a LAN does, where it's just all those things are off the table. You don't have any internet variables. And Envy did a great job. They won against Complexity, TP and Aches, and they took those boys out, and it was a pretty good matchup. We certainly enjoyed watching that. They actually won 2-0, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They actually rolled through Complexity pretty quick, 2-0, and it was fortunate for Envy. They really needed that one because Complexity was already qualified for the Call of Duty Championships for $1 million.
Yes.
And Envy's sitting there fighting for their lives.
Yes.
So that was a great match, great one to see. Also, after that matchup on main stage, we had Optic Gaming taking out High Hopes. And Envy looked really strong. They looked like, a top 2 or 3 team.
JCap and Stainville, those guys.
JCap's performance last night. If you have not seen JCap's performance against Complexity, go head over to youtube.com/officialmlgcod and check out Complexity versus Envious from last night.
Yeah, you can watch all
that
the highlights. Yeah,
you can watch the games.
The VODs from the games are over there, so you can go check that out. Props to MLG getting those up right away.
So let's talk about Optic. So they actually looked equally as strong as Envy. They took out High Hopes 2-0. Merc, big timer, showing up with their ARs. The AR game is here in Dallas on LAN, and those AR players are just blowing it up.
A lot of fans should be pretty happy because, Optic and Envy, household names, there's a lot of people watching the stream looking for them. Well, guess what, guys? They made it to the championship winners bracket. They're up there now. You're going to see them on stream today. The broadcast schedule, we've got some great matches going up today. Optic Gaming and Icons Blue, that's going to be a huge one. That's the Ego squad that went up with Intake, who had the pro points of second seed with Roughnecks. They formed together. They're in it. So now Optic and Icons going up. That's going to be great. So we'll have the broadcast schedule up here shortly. You guys can kind of plan your matches accordingly. And finally, after I was watching the stream and in the chat when I was in casting, and ooh, man, it was, where is Optic and Envy? It's like, they're coming today, so you don't want to go anywhere for that.
Yeah, they made it through the open bracket of Doom. That was just an insane open bracket. Now we have 4 teams qualified out of that open bracket. So again, that was FaZe, Envious, Optic Gaming, and Hysteria, which we'll catch next round here after this matchup on the main stage. They're going to be facing off against Unite. And right now we have this VVV versus FaZe matchup, so let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to run through the Saturday broadcast schedule before we jump into the VVV FaZe game, we've got Unite versus Hysteria at 11, Icons Blue versus Optic, as we were talking about, and then 12:30, right before we get a little lunch break, we're going to do Farico versus Envious. So, guys, this is a huge matchup, and then clearly we go through the evening with some other championship bracket matches. Just so everyone knows, these are Central Daylight Time, so calibrate your times accordingly. But yes, Hashra, we've got VVV versus FaZe. What do you expect out of this matchup?
Oh, man, VVV is one of those teams that we've been talking about for a while. They're performing online. They're an awesome team, amazing chemistry. They've stuck together this far, and they haven't had a matchup yet. This is going to be their first match at Dallas. I don't know how that's going to affect them coming in playing a hot FaZe team. FaZe has had plenty of games through that open bracket to kind of warm up and get their chemistry going here in Dallas. VVV had to sit out all of yesterday just warming up. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Some really good players on both of these teams. I think we're going to see some really close games.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be back to bring you the VVV versus FaZe game. Don't go anywhere.